I'm Jack, and welcome back because this time I am going to do a video of who's most likely to die in the Suicide Squad leading up to the release of the movie in the United States on August 6th. Now, before we get started, please, if you have seen the movie, don't spoil in the comments who dies. I want to make sure that anybody who's watching this, or even myself, does not have to worry about seeing a spoiler in the movie. And two, or better yet, stay away from the comments section for good if you haven't seen it. Don't forget to follow me on social media because my username is on the screen. And don't forget to do that while you're at it. And with those two things out of the way, let's get started. First one to talk about on this list is Weasel. Now, Weasel is one of those characters who I think is most likely going to die. Probably top of the list. Just because when you look at all the trailers we've had and all the marketing, Weasel is not really in that many scenes that we've seen him in. We've seen him in some bits where it's like the Task Force X get recruited and all that. And looking at the posters, it looks like there's two separate teams. And it looks like the team that he's on pretty much showcases that he's not going to make it out alive. So I think he has a very high chance of dying. And if I'm right, it's going to be in like the very first half of this movie when they start the mission. Up next is Sol Soria. Just like with Weasel, I have a good feeling that she's also going to bite the dust in this movie. Maybe she's not going to die immediately like someone like Weasel, but we don't see her much in the marketing, and she's not heavily used in the posters. So I also feel like with her character that she's going to die. Maybe not right when it happens, but she'll make it a good few minutes into those missions, and then I think that will be it for her. Next up is the Detachable Kid, played by Nathan Fillion. Now, with this character, it seems like, yes, I do think he's going to die in this movie, but I think he's going to last a good bit into the film, and then he gets killed off, because aside from a few moments here and there in the trailer, and what we don't see as much of him, so I have a feeling that just like with Weasel and Sol Soria, that he's not going to last too long in this movie, but I think that he's going to showcase what he can do with his abilities, and then after like the first good chunk of like the action sequence in the first half, once they start to go on this mission, then I have a good feeling that we're going to have to say goodbye to him. Next up is Mongal. Now, I also have a feeling that she's not going to make it very long into this movie either, just because, of course, in one of the posters and in the trailers, it seems like you have two different teams, a Team A and a Team B, one with Harley Quinn and then one with the Detachable Kid. I have a fear that Mongal is also going to bite the dust at the start of their mission. She's going to, I think also what we see in the trailer, she's going to, of course, be around for a bit using her abilities, and she'll be there for a few minutes, but I don't see her making out of that point in the movie alive. Next up is Savant, played by Michael Rooker. Without a doubt, I'm sorry, but I love me some Michael Rooker, but I also feel like he's going to die off pretty quickly in the movie. Hey, if they were able to kill off Yondu in Guardians 2, then I have no doubt they're going to get rid of him in this movie. Because, again, it also showcases that he's on that same team as the Detachable Kid, and almost pretty much everybody on that team, I think, is going to bite the dust, except for, like, maybe Rick Flag. But anyway, I have a feeling that Savant is going to die, and a lot of the things I've seen and heard of him seem like he ain't going to last very long. And as much as I love seeing Michael Rooker on screen, I have a fear that they're going to kill him off in another James Gunn movie. So with that said, Savant is also a character that I think is going to bite the dust. Blackguard is the next person to talk about on this list. Now, again, he's definitely not making it out alive in this movie. From everything I've seen, whether it's a trailer, a commercial, or a poster, I don't see much of Blackguard, and that gives me the feeling that he ain't making it out alive either. And just because, again, he's also on that same team as Savant and the Detachable Kid, I don't see him making it out alive. I'm sorry. Again, that's the thing with this movie. I don't really know. I have a feeling it's like I know who's going to make it out alive and who isn't, but this is one of those times where I'm like, Yeah, he ain't making it out alive. They could do a special something with him, but I don't know exactly what that could be. So overall, yeah, I do not think he's gonna make it out alive past that first sequence once they get to start their mission. Captain Boomerang. Now, as a character, he's a huge member of the team in the comics, and I always was hoping that he would be in at least every Suicide Squad movie. But I'm afraid that because he's placed on Team B, that and looking that he's not in the trailers and all that very much, I have a really bad feeling that this is going to be him. This is gonna basically kill him off, and I'm worried about it because last year when they released like a making of the movie video and all of that for DC Fandom, like a featurette of sorts, and you saw Captain Boomerang on that island. In that one scene that I've seen, then it really gives me a bad feeling that he's not going to make it out alive. As much as I'd love to see him survive to fight another day, I don't see him making it out alive in this movie. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, I do not have much high hopes that he's going to make it out alive in this movie, and that's going to be a shocker to see, probably. So, yep, Boomerang is sadly going to die in my predictions. Coming up after Captain Boomerang is Javelin. Now, he's also going to die. He might showcase his abilities when we see him in action, but again, just like from what we see in the trailers and all that, I don't see him making that alive. I don't see him surviving this movie. I think he's gonna get killed off in the early half of this mission. So, yep, he's gonna showcase his abilities, do his thing, and what he can do, and then he's gonna bite the dust. Next up is Amanda Waller herself. Now, she's making it out alive. Like, she's the backbone of this team. She's the one that monitors them and makes sure they're doing their mission as they should. And she's such a tough and fierce woman. So I have no doubt that she is going to make it out alive all the way till the end of this movie. So she is definitely safe on this list. Next up is Rick Flag. Now, he is also an important member to the team, so I have no doubt he's also going to make it out alive. There are two things I could see happening with Rick Flag. He either survives the entire movie, or he gets killed off once we get to like that final half of the movie. But I have a feeling that because of how important he is to the team, and he's like the leader of sorts for them, like on the field and all that, I have a good feeling that Rick Flag will definitely survive this movie. So he's going to survive all this craziness and all that. So yeah, he's safe. Next up is the Thinker. Now, he's an interesting one to say because I have a feeling that, yeah, he's going to die. He's not going to die early in the movie for sure. I have a feeling that we've seen a good few chunks of him in the trailer and all that, so I have a feeling that he's gonna die in like the third act. Once we get to that final fight of the movie, then the Thinker is gonna bite the dust because he seems like a character. He's very suspicious to me, so I have a feeling that he's gonna like do stuff with the team, especially in one of the scenes in the trailer, but he's gonna be a lot more villainous than we think he is. So he's definitely going to die once we get to like the third act of the movie. Coming up next is the fan favorite King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. Now, I have a good feeling that he's going to make it out alive, but I'm also scared that they're going to kill off this cute animal because he's King Shark. He's cute. Yes, he bites people's heads off and all that, but we love King Shark. Like, we stand King Shark. So I want to say he's going to survive. I really hope they don't kill him off, even though I'm scared that they're going to. And I hope not. So, King Shark, because also, too, he's heavily marketed in, like, the trailers and the posters and all that. And for what I've seen, it's like, yeah, he's going to be safe for the majority of this movie. And I really hope he makes it out alive. I'm scared he won't, but I really hope he survives. So, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Next up is Peacemaker, portrayed by John Cena. Now, there are two ways I could also see this happening. He's either going to survive the entire movie, because he's also getting a TV show coming out next year, and so he's either gonna make it out alive in this movie, or he dies in the third act of this movie, and that show would be a prequel. But it would be weird to make a show off of a character that dies in this movie. So there are two ways I could see it happening. And so if I want to stick to my gut of what I think is going to happen, I think Peacemaker, he's either going to survive or he's going to die. So it's in the finale. So it's kind of a two-way street for him. But yeah. So as much as I want to see him live because it's John Cena, I have a fear that they're going to kill him off and the show's a prequel. But again, maybe that show's set after the movie and maybe he does survive the movie. So there's a two-way street on how this will go down for Peacemaker. Next up is Ratcatcher 2. Now, just like with Peacemaker, there are also two ways I could see her fate coming down in this movie. She's either going to survive, but then Bloodsport dies, or Bloodsport survives, but she doesn't make it out alive. Because in the trailer, in one of the trailers, there's a line where they're like talking to each other, like, oh, they're going to get each other out of here alive. That gives me a tease that one of them is going to make it out alive, but not so much the other. So either, because she's also on the main lineup of the characters in this movie, alongside like Harley Quinn and King Shark and Polka-Dot Man and Rick Flag and all that, then I have a feeling that Ratcatcher 2 might survive for the movie. Like, she'll survive the entire movie, but then Bloodsport doesn't make it out alive, or she dies in the movie once we get to that third act finale, but Bloodsport makes it out alive in the process. Next up on this list is Polka-Dot Man. Now, this is a very funny and cartoonish character to put in this movie because his weapons involve polka dots. And I have a feeling that he's either going to survive the majority of this movie, or he's going to die at the moment in the trailer where he's like, I'm a superhero. So there's a two-way street here, but if I want to stick to my gut, I have a feeling that he's very pessimistic and he seems very suicidal. But I have a feeling that he's going to survive this movie, so I think Polka-Dot Man might be safe. Next up is Bloodsport. Now, just like I mentioned with Ratcatcher 2, it's either he lives but she dies, or she dies but he lives. So okay, let me try that again because I don't know if I made a mistake there. Okay. Next up is Bloodsport. Now, just like I mentioned with Ratcatcher 2, there's two ways this could go down. Either he lives but she dies, or she lives but he dies. And looking at the trailers of this movie, especially as he has a standoff with Peacemaker, I have a feeling that I want to say what they're going to lean towards. I think Bloodsport might bite the dust in this movie, but it's tough because, again, it could be him or I don't see him and Ratcatcher 2 both making it out alive. So that's why it's a two-way street for me when it comes to these two characters. But if I want to say what I think might happen, I think Bloodsport might die a hero in the third act finale as the whole world watches what's happening on TV, just like with his daughter, and Ratcatcher 2 might live, but that's how I see it. So definitively, I think that Bloodsport might die, but Ratcatcher 2 might survive. In last place is Harley Quinn herself. Now, Harley Quinn is like the most popular character in the Suicide Squad, and she's easily one of the more fan-favorite characters in the DCU. So without a doubt, she's going to make it out alive. It's Margot Robbie. We all love her as the character, and she's popular. I don't see them ever thinking, let's kill off this character in this movie, because this is her third portrayal as the character. And despite the fact that there's still a lot they could actually do with a character like Harley Quinn, I have no doubt that she's going to make it out alive, and I do not believe they would kill her off in this movie. Even though I won't be surprised, well, I would be surprised if they actually kill off her character in a way that shocks everybody. But I don't see that happening because that'd be too risky of a move for them. So I have a good feeling that Harley Quinn is going to make it out alive in this movie because she's popular. It's Margot Robbie, and we all love the character in these movies, I hope. So in the end, Harley Quinn makes it out alive in my predictions. Those are my predictions on who I think might live and die in the Suicide Squad. I am so excited to finally see this movie in a few days. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be violent. It's going to be action-packed. And I am super excited to see this movie. But also, just in case, no spoilers in this video. No spoilers in the comment section. If you've seen the movie already, please don't be a jerk and spoil what actually happens in this movie. Please don't give us spoilers on who dies and lives. Please just keep that to yourself. And let's just wait and see the movie worldwide until we can finally start discussing it. So I'm hoping that nobody spoils in the comments. So even if you're terrified of seeing the comments just for that, just stay away from the comments. But don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below on the screen. So don't forget to do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching. So don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button and stay tuned for more.